Good afternoon, legends. Welcome to Aussie OCR podcast episode 110. And I'm excited today. I'm excited for today's chat. I just recently, last weekend, was over in Western Australia, over in Perth, seeing how they do it on the West Coast at Red Dust OCR, and met this guy, Sam Shepherd, who absolutely blew the fucking doors off the competition, which was no surprise to anyone else at the venue. I'd obviously seen him around at Red Dust podium announcements over the years, but was truly impressed by how great of an athlete he is and how nice of a bloke, really humble, and really thought it'd be interesting to bring him on for a chat and work out what he's all about. So as usual, guys, let me know if you are watching with a hashtag live. Dom's here. I'll bring Shep on. Shep, how are you, buddy?
Hey, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure, mate. My pleasure. How'd you pull up after last weekend? I'll just bring all these overlays on while you're talking.
I was sore. I was definitely sore waking up Sunday morning. I knew that I was about to get more sore, so I wanted to get the race out of the way. And then Monday was a complete write-off. And then two good nights sleeps. And Tuesday I was doing some light weights, and then Wednesday back into it. So still going easy,
Beautiful.
but I'm back into pretty regular routine.
Beautiful. And for those that aren't in the know, so the Red Dust hosted their Momentum event down in Keysbrook, Western Australia, so sort of southeast of the city. Um, they had four events on the roster, three races. So they had a 10K and a 5K, which we did on the Saturday, and the 15 on the Sunday. And then they also had another event that was called a Delta V, which is a 6 hour overnight endurance event, hurricane-esque, type N
Yeah.
endurance-esque, if you're familiar with those, which looked a lot of fun. And Sam, you did all three of the races, and as I said, you blew the fucking doors off everyone there. Um, I had a crack on Saturday morning in the 10K, um, and I finished second on the elites, and I think I was still like at least 15 minutes behind you. I don't know how long, but it was a
Yeah,
fucking while,
yeah.
man.
It's a good
And
race, yeah.
you did that in the 5 and the 15 as well. Um,
Yeah.
the 5 I live streamed, so that was a bit of a slower affair for me. But
Slow you down a bit.
yeah, it did. But the 15 was you convincingly beat Shannon Daly, who's a accomplished racer, pretty damn good at what he
He is. He's
does,
good.
and a fucking lovely bloke too. I'm gonna bring him on for a chat as well. He's a fucking
You
legend.
definitely
Very
should.
enter
He is a legend. Got a lot of time for him.
Absolutely. He's an entertaining Insta follow as well.
That's what I said to him. I was like, man, it's just so nice having him down at those races, hey, because aside from the fact that he's a wicked racer and an awesome athlete, he's just a
Yeah,
funny bloke. He's just entertaining, eh?
absolutely. Absolutely. Just give me one sec, mate, because I'm just going to um, share this around in a couple of spots
Mm.
so that we get a couple of people
Yeah,
online.
go for it.
Join us live right now. I'll put something on the Insta as well. But yeah, Dali's he's a good bloke, fun
He
guy.
is. He's a legend.
Have you ever been over to the East Coast racing? That's where I met him. I think you said
I
you have.
haven't. No, unfortunately not. Hey.
We'll have to get you over, man.
Yeah, that's next on the list. Definitely is. I was talking to Gilly a week or two ago, and yeah, he said I got to get over there, got to do some Spartans, and there seems to be a lot more of a scene for it over there as well.
100%. Yeah. The Gilly Goat. He's another fucking legend.
Mm.
Um, Lovely bloke. I had him on a chat. He was my last one. Because he took
Oh,
out
was
Raw
he?
Challenge, I think, for the sixth time in a row or something. He won Raw. So
Saw
I'm
that.
actually just
Yeah.
down the road from a place, well, not down the road, about 45 minutes away from a place called Raw Challenge on the Gold Coast. And that's
Yep.
a fixed location, so it's there all year round. It's a farm. They do a couple of other things, but for the most part, it's an obstacle course. They do two main events a year, which are 9K courses with 60 obstacles, so a bit more obstacle dense than,
Oh,
say, Red Dust would be.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, they do the two main events a year, and then they do have school groups, corporate teams, all that type of stuff through all year round. So I go out there
Sounds
and do all their
fun.
yeah, I do all their corporate training and stuff out there. But their main events are fucking awesome, and Quinton has won the last six. And it's a
Yeah.
fun course, man. You're very obstacle proficient, so you'd enjoy it. You'd enjoy it a lot, I think.
60 obstacles
So,
in 9Ks. That's dense, isn't it?
yeah, it is. I mean, they're not. Some of them aren't crazy. Some of them are like a little log over like a little
Yeah, it
A-frame over a
depends.
fence, or a log
Yeah, for
over a
sure.
creek or something. So some of them aren't, the hamster wheel or the hanging
Yeah,
boards, but they've
yeah,
got a lot of that stuff as well. So they've got a pretty good list of stuff. So
yeah.
guys, I have just put this thing on the screen. Let us know if you're watching live. Give us a hashtag replay. If you are catching a replay later, send us your questions for Shep, and I will thread them into the conversation. So if I do have your comments on screen. So if you do ask a comment, we can bring it on screen, and I will ask when it's appropriate. I had it asked last week, why don't I just have them automatically coming on screen? Because it sometimes can be a bit jarring for the conversation. Whereas if I
Yeah.
can sort of find a good way to segue into something, it's a bit more fluid.
It's like
But
adding 50 people to the conversation.
can't do it, man. It's not a conversation. It's a rally. Um, yeah, so I'll just put this on IG as well. I'll see if we can pull some people across from there. What are you up to today, Shep?
I work at F45, so I've just finished working there, and then I'm lucky enough to be able to train. Then I've got to do a threshold session after this. So that no tempo session. I've done my threshold Tuesday, or should have done if I wasn't resting. But yeah, I got tempo work because I'm doing a half marathon in 3 weeks. So I'm trying to hit a PB for that. And
Beautiful.
so yeah, that's today, and then going out with some friends tonight. So that'll be good.
Half marathon, you said?
Yeah, HBF fun, run for a reason. It's called. So it's kind of a run through the
Nice.
city, real flat, fast run.
Nice. Perth's
Yeah,
pretty fucking flat, bro.
it's good, eh? Yeah,
Somehow they found some hills at Keysbrook, man. I was surprised. So I was driving out
yep,
there. I'm like, this is going to be flat and fast.
yep.
Uh, it was not flat. It was
No.
it was actually a pretty challenging course for the distances. I think I clocked something, 680 meters of vert across the 10K. I
Yeah,
don't
I
think I
was
had a look at the
1500 of
10K.
over the 3 races, so
Sounds about right.
that's quite a bit over 30Ks, you know.
What was it for the 15? Did you notice?
I think it was just over 650.
I thought I had that for the super. I'm going to go back and see if I can find it real quick. But what sort of time are you running a half mara? Like what's your PB target?
Yeah, I'm 83 minutes 40 at the moment, and I want to go sub 80 for this one. So
That's boogieing.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
nice.
I'm really lucky to work with some really proficient duathletes and road runners. So I've been picking their brains and figuring out how they operate, and it's really helped. Hey.
Yeah, it's it's an interesting thing for like being a hybrid athlete is you sort of need to
Mm,
do a lot of things all at the same time. I had 790 for the 15. Um,
okay,
so
yep,
you have to do a lot of things all at the same time, right? So
you do.
when you just go, I'm just going to really dial in my road running or just this one specific side of it and put a fair bit of energy in, you can get some really good
You
results.
can, yeah. And then when you come back to where you were, you find you're just miles ahead of where you used to be. You know, like when my
100%.
OCR racing was nowhere near what it is now. When I was running a 140 half, now that I'm almost running a 120, I feel like a completely different athlete. You know,
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely makes a difference, man. Um, Running's a big part of it. It's about 80% of it.
it is. Yeah, literally.
If you're a good runner and you fail five obstacles, you're probably still going to do all right. Whereas if you're a shit runner
Yeah,
who can do the obstacles, you're never going to be that quick.
no,
Um,
yeah.
so yeah, it's cool. Um, nice, man. Um, how long have you been racing OCR?
3.5 years. So the second Red Dust race, they've been going for 4 years, and the second one in. So I think about 3.5 years ago, I started that, coming from F45 and CrossFit background, and was humbled by the running. So then I started running 3 to 4 times a week from there. Started chasing a better half marathon time, doing some ultra stuff, and been loving it since.
Nice. And you said you came out of F45. Were you working there at the time? Like, have you been in the
Yeah,
industry for a while?
I've been working there for 5 years, and still doing my sessions. Hey, it depends programming wise what I'm doing for running, and that takes priority. But now that
Uh-huh.
I'm not haven't got a big race coming up, I'll do one or two F45 cardio sessions a week. I think that they're good in moderation, and
100%.
I really enjoy that still.
It's good for, I mean, you need to have some level of high intensity tuning up at some
You
point,
do, yeah,
somewhere in the program. So like often if somebody will come to me and they'll say, "Oh, look, I want to train for an OCR," or I'll see them at an OCR event and they'll go, "I want to get better at this." And I go, "What do you do now?" And they go, "Oh, F45 6 days a week." And I'm like, "Okay,
mm,
we've got to spend a bit of
yeah,
time doing strength. We've got to spend a bit of time doing mobility, and we've got to spend a bit of time maybe doing like low aerobic work or getting an aerobic base under you."
definitely,
But we're not going to completely take away the F45 because there's probably a reason why you like it. You
yeah,
probably like the social aspect, gives you the accountability, you're part of a tribe, and all of that's
yeah,
really, really powerful and important. So, yeah. But
and
if somebody's say not doing those group classes, then it's like, okay, well, here's some conditioning focused stuff that you need to be in, like
yeah,
getting
yeah.
into.
And looking on the other side of the scale, where maybe like a straight runner comes to you and says, I want to get better at OCR racing, then you're like, well, I should probably give you some F45 classes. So it's still a valuable part of training and of conditioning. But yeah, like you said, maybe you just need to focus on hitting all aspects of fitness rather than just let's get our heart rate up and box with dumbbells for 6 days a week.
Yeah, it's a OCR is so multifaceted, right? So it's
Mm,
like if somebody comes to you and they are a good runner, say they're really good at running, but they're no good moving their body weight through space or they're no good with strength. It's like, well, you need strength. If they're really good at F45, they're probably going to be a decent all rounder.
yeah,
But say they're good at, say, like a body pump class, often they'll be a little bit better with sort of endurance but light, so they won't be able to do a pull up. They're not strong enough. So for me, it's just going, let's test somebody in the beginning, work out where you're
yeah,
at, and then go, what's the lowest hanging fruit?
yep,
Let's lean into the things that you do well, but let's also find the shit that you do really poorly and turn those weaknesses into strengths,
yeah.
or at
Just
least
raise the tide. Yeah.
yeah, raise the lowest point, and everything will go up for
Mm.
sure. But no, that's sick, man. How do you teach the classes there?
Yeah, yeah. So I coach them, and yeah, like I said, jump in for a few, but because it's my main source of income, right? I'm trying to do my music, and I'm trying to do, trying to what I call myself an athlete, I guess. That takes up a lot of time as well out of your week, as I'm sure you know. And trying to do it all, it's like F45 seems to be the best thing where I can just rock up, get it done, and then that's it. There's no homework to do. So
Yeah, yeah, cool. How long have you been doing music?
uh much longer than fitness, that's for sure. Since I was in year five, I think I started singing,
Wow.
and no, I started playing guitar for 2years, and then I got roped into singing in a band, and then it was no looking back from there, and I've been singing since year nine onwards, I think, and now I'm like, right, let's have a crack at this.
Yeah, cool. Cool, cool. I followed your Insta. What's the handle? And I'll chuck it. Actually, what I'll do is post a link in the chat.
Yeah, it's
You
underscore Shep underscore because Shep on its own was taken.
motherfuckers. Shit. Yeah, I'll just post the whole link in the chat. So Dom said you've obviously got this half marathon. Did you say that was this weekend coming?
No, 22nd of May, so I got another
Ah,
few
you got a bit
weeks
of time.
worth of training. Yeah.
You got a bit of time. So what I've just thrown up in the chat, guys, is Shep's IG. If you do get over there, you can see he puts up. Did you say a song every week?
Song every 2 weeks. It used to be a song every
2 weeks.
week last year, and now it's every two
Sick.
weeks.
That's some good fucking work ethic, man.
Thank you.
What's prolific for a creator, music wise? Like, I don't really have a reference point. Like, somebody who's putting a lot of shit out, would you be at the pointy end of that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so it's definitely leaning more towards that now, just because albums are slowly becoming dead, and the
Sure.
idea of constantly being in front of people and having those touch points is becoming more important.
Yeah.
Artists are starting to release music more frequently, but yeah, not as frequently as I have for as long as I have. So it's cool.
That is cool. Do you find that that has sharpened your music up, that frequency?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's given me a good balance between with art and putting your art out into the world. It's easy to be a perfectionist, and it's hard to let go of things that might not be exactly how you want them to be. And while you want to focus on getting the quality up and making good art, you also want to be able to put something out. And if it doesn't go the way you want, having that detachment from it to just be like, right, what's next? You know. So I think it's really
100%.
helped with that.
Yeah, 100%. It's easy to number one let that perfectionism paralyze you and not
Mm,
do anything, but also sometimes that can become a bit of an excuse for people where it's
definitely.
this isn't ready, so I'm just not going to do it at all. And it's like
Yeah.
really you're just a little bit worried about failure, or
Yep.
you know don't have the balls to put it out and cop the
Yeah.
hate that
So
you're going to get because social
yeah.
media is fucking vicious.
Yep,
Um,
yep, it is. There's no way
it's
around it. And sticking to that one
uh,
a week was like, right, I've said I'm going to do this. So no matter what happens, just get that done, you know. And that was a bit of it flipped a switch for me. Yeah.
Yeah, it does, man. And sometimes you're gonna have weeks, I imagine, where you look back at some of the songs and you go, "Well, it's not my best," but you get it
Oh,
done, you
always.
stick to it, and sticking to that, and even if you're pulling the trigger on stuff that isn't quite finished, I find that when you're doing something often and you're putting it out into the world, you have so many more chances to critique your own work, right? So if you're
Yep.
making shit and nobody's seeing it,
Yep.
there's no stakes.
Yeah.
But if you're putting stuff out and people are actually going, nah, not your best man, or that one was really good,
Yeah.
you're able to learn more from the crowd rather than
Yeah. And you're
yourself.
stuck in an echo chamber if you're just listening to your own, you know, in your own circle as well. If you can expand that out, then like you said, make so much more progress because it's out
Yeah.
in the whole world and it's not yours anymore. It's the world's.
Yeah. I find that for me, like if I'm journaling or writing something down, if I put it in a blog and write it, it's like it's got so much more impact for me mentally because
Yep.
you have to like put your thoughts in a way that you know other people are going to be reading them, so you're a bit more rigorous on yourself. And
Yep. Yep.
I guess for you, if you're fucking around with the guitar and just playing around with some stuff, once you actually go, well, this is going to be what's going to go out public, all of a sudden you're
Mm.
probably a lot more critical of it. And
Yeah, it makes you think twice for sure. And it hopefully removes ego from it sometimes as well, where you're like,
yeah,
I want this song to not just serve a purpose for me, but serve a purpose for everyone that's about to listen to it. And that's a really cool thing
for
as
sure.
well.
What is the purpose? What is it? Does it change song to song or?
It does, yeah. I say that each of the songs are a brick in the wall that is my life, and
It's amazing.
each of them change depending on how I'm feeling and what I'm tackling. And I always say to people that my catalog or my all the songs I've released are a diary of my life and what I've been through over the last 4 years, you know, and it's cool to think of it like that, where each song's coming out is just a new progression and a new version of Shep and of my life.
Fuck yeah, that's really
Mm.
cool.
Yeah,
That's really
thanks.
cool, man. Um, the talking about like doing things on a schedule and releasing, you know, every 2 weeks. I started doing this thing at the start of the year called the 12 pillars. So
Yep.
basically, I thought about what's a couple of key things that are going to be important for every racer to know. And you know, some of the obvious ones: nutrition, strength, conditioning. But some of them weren't as obvious. So just I'll bring it up so you can see. But yeah, some of them weren't as obvious, right?
Mm.
So I sat down and I thought, what's these things that I can these things that everyone needs, and then we use that to guide our content for the year. So I think you
Yep.
know January was running, February was nutrition, March was something else.
Yeah,
April was
yeah, I get you.
race
Yep.
nutrition, so we're talking about race nutrition now. And I find that when you're because you like if I have to create content regularly, sometimes that can be paralyzing because there's too
Definitely.
much choice of what you can do.
Mm.
So like in the same way that if you walk into, I mean, I don't drink anymore, but if I walked into a bottle shop and I'm like, I want to drink a beer tonight, I'm like, oh, there's 47 fucking beers. Which
Yeah,
beer am I
yeah,
gonna like? If I walk in and there's one beer, I'll just buy the beer. I'll drink the beer. I'll be happy with the beer. I don't give a fuck. But if
yeah.
because you've got all this choice,
Mm,
you'll you'll like they've I heard of a study of this where it's like they give people cheese, and it's like if you give them 4 to 8 pieces of like different cheeses, they enjoy the cheese. But if you give them 15 cheeses, they not only do they don't choose a favorite, but they pick less cheese to eat. Like it was some
yeah,
weird thing
yeah.
like
Makes
that.
sense.
But so basically, we've got to make this content, and when it's sort of just anything, it can be a little bit paralyzing. So by giving
Mm,
myself some rules and saying this month I'm going to talk about this content, and I'm going to give myself a bit of a timeline and a bit of a say on Monday we do this, on Wednesday we do this. You're now like waking up that day going, I've got to make content about this idea,
yeah, yeah.
and like half of it's done, but
Just gives you an
interesting.
objective.
Yeah, but interesting things, and not only that from a motivation standpoint, because it sounds like you're disciplined, but you sometimes create unique solutions to problems that you didn't know you had, right? So you give yourself some obstacles to get over in the creative process,
Mm,
some rules, and sometimes that creates things that you wouldn't have done without those rules. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
I'll give you an example. And this might have been sort of where I got the idea from. This guy, Kevin B. Parry on Instagram. He's he's a he does like movie magic type stuff. So you'll see he's does this video where he's just using camera effects, right,
Yeah, right.
to do these
Yeah.
tricks. But he does like stop animation and stuff like that. But this is just a cool video to give you an idea of what he does. But he did this
Mm,
same thing, right, where he said for this month my I'll see if I can scroll down so you can see what I'm talking about. But he'll say for this month my idea is balloon. So he had to make
yeah.
videos with balloons. And the next month was
Huh.
a ball, and the next month was something else. And some of the shit that he made was really fucking cool because, like, skateboard might have been it, but
Yeah.
some of it was really fucking cool because he had to. My pumpkin might have been one, so
Yeah. Yeah.
he might have chose pumpkin for Halloween. But
Huh.
yeah, because he gave himself these rules, he came up with these awesome solutions to problems, and it makes your mind think in different ways and laterally. And
Yeah.
it's a cool idea. I,
Yeah.
I I
Definitely.
I really enjoy talking to people who are creative, um, because there doesn't seem to be any set way. It's not
Nah.
like if and fitness is sort of like it in a way, but in general, like if you want to get better at running, there's a path to follow.
Yep.
But it's like
Yep.
if you want to write a great book, there's definitely like best practices, and you need to be disciplined and doing it constantly. But like how people get their creativity and what sort of space they put themselves into for the
Mm,
fucking juice to start flowing it
yeah.
varies amazingly differently from person to
Yeah. It
person.
does.
How is there like a go-to thing that you do to get yourself in the creative space?
Uh, I've lately considered it as or likened it to going to a library where when you go to a library, you just go and take a quick look at one book and see what you think, and then you go and you have another read of another book. And I liken those books to different ideas where I'm just in the studio and I just pull out one idea wherever that comes from, and I'm trying to be very passive with receiving that idea, and it just comes in, and no matter how weird I think it is or unusual I think it is, I just check that out. And then if that's something that's worth pursuing, I keep that book and then have a closer read of it. And if not, I put it back and move on to the next idea. So I feel like whenever I check into the studio, I'm just checking into the library that is my brain and just
It's
going
got.
through all different random ideas.
Where do you pull the ideas from? Do you whiteboard? Do you just think and go, fucking,
Yeah,
like just come up with
typically,
something? Or
typically I go through sound libraries where it's various websites. One of them is called Splice, for example, where you pay a membership and you get access to thousands and thousands of different samples from different instrument players and
okay,
different producers. So I'll go through maybe a pack full of trumpet samples and then be listening to all these different trumpets, and then one of them will make this melody where I'm like, oh, that reminds me of this time where I didn't want to keep going, but I've forced myself to, and now look where it's got me. Just from
Wow.
that, because the music can really speak, and I think that just from that one sample, it can tell a whole story, and then from there, I know what I want to do with the drums and what I want to say and what the chorus is going to be. And a really good day for me is where I listen to that one thing and then I go, right, let's make this whole song. And then from there, the process is how can I, as effectively as possible, get it from my head into actually being a real song I can present to people.
Yeah, wow. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, memory pegs to music in amazing ways. I know there's all sorts of stuff they do with like dementia patients who have
Yeah.
lost
Yeah.
fucking almost all of it, and you play them a tune and it'll take
Amazes
them
me.
back to that
Yeah.
time standing on their step. Like it's the brain is fucking incredible, but that's a cool thing. So you sort of let the melody maybe pull at a memory and then just
Yeah.
expand on it and see where it goes.
Yeah.
I do something sort of a little bit similar in a way, in this way, like, so every Monday I generally do like a Monday motivation post.
Yeah.
And
Just going to move to get my phone on charge. Hopefully that's all right.
yeah, she's pretty fucking relaxed here, mate.
Yeah. Bloody oath.
Um, so I'm just trying to find one. But what I might do is say I've got to do like a Monday motivation post, which in general is going to be a quote over a photo.
Yeah.
So, for example, this one here, where we took a heap of people over to Thailand for a trip, and
Oh, wow. That's epic.
yeah, we took them over there. It's something I'm going to talk to you about, the Spartan APAC, so the Asia Pacific Champs over in Phuket. So,
Yep.
what I've got for my Monday motivation is I've got to do a post, and it's got to be about motivating in some way. So I'll either start with a photo that I like and go, what does this photo say? This is a photo about resilience, or this is a photo about fucking, I don't know, whatever it is, and then I'll try and find or think up a quote that matches that. Or I'll
Yep.
go, I really like this quote. What does this quote match in terms of what I've got in the fucking 40,000 photos in my phone? And I'll go
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
like all the photos I took at Red Dust, and I'll have a couple of quotes that I want to use just saved in the catalog, and then I'll go, oh, that quote, we'll go with that. And then I'll melt it all
Yeah.
together. But it's interesting how you
And it
sort
does.
of just, what's that?
A picture just speaks, 1,000 words, doesn't it? So I think that's
Yeah.
cool that you use that to provide you with the content. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm
Yeah.
fascinated by creative people. They're the most
Yeah.
interesting people, I think, for sure.
Yeah.
Um, I know we did talk about the half marathon, but Dom just wants to know what is your next race, OCR wise?
Yeah, it's that HBF half marathon on the 22nd of May, which
Yeah,
is
yeah, no,
yeah,
no,
a very flat, fast road run.
no. So I did say I know about the half marathon, but what's the next OCR, next obstacle course? Anything by the way?
OCR.
Sorry,
I haven't got anything. Hey,
no.
yeah. The next step is, I guess, sponsors so that I can get over to you guys
Yeah,
and yeah, start making a bit of a calendar for myself.
I think there's obviously a couple coming up East Coast, but man, I reckon Spartan APAC over in Thailand
Yeah.
because it's easy for you to jump over as well. Like it's probably flight wise, it's man, probably similar to get to the East Coast. Um, Cost of living's there so much fucking cheaper. You'll be able to hire a
Yeah.
motorbike for the week, and it'll be fuck all. Um, Thailand's incredible if you haven't been there. And then, we'll go over with a couple
Awesome.
of Aussies again. So Liam McKenzie won it last year. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I'd love to see you against a race against Liam, but
Me
I
too.
think you do very well over there. Um,
Yeah.
so if you're gonna travel, you may as well go big, right? I think they
Yeah.
did
I think.
just
Yeah.
they just announced it again for I think November. It's a um 21, 10, and a 5. So it's a trifecta weekend out of a place called Blue Tree, which is
Yeah.
Blue Tree's like a water park, and it's fucking amazing. So I think the 10K is the 10K is the competitive one.
Yep.
But yeah, I would I reckon that's the go. I think you'll
Yeah.
enjoy it
I think
immensely.
Thailand APAC sounds really cool.
I'll send you some details after we get off, and I'll yeah, see if I can connect you
Yeah.
with a couple of people who might be able to help you get over there. But yeah, cool place, cool race.
Yeah.
You look like you're gearing up to show me some music.
Always.
What do we got?
Oh, mate, I could play you anything really. Let me get the speakers on.
You got a good little setup there.
Oh, I'm very lucky. Yeah, I got the whole studio. See if you can see there. I got all the no, wrong way. Guitars there. Very lucky.
Are they acoustic panels on the walls?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're not. To be honest, they don't actually do very much. But I put them up anyway, and yeah, they're a little tool, I guess. But a lot of it is just getting the right. This keeps moving me off. Getting the right acoustics with your mic and just making sure that's all set up well, and then going from there. So
Yeah, I sometimes I run a Rode. Like at the moment, I've just got you coming through the headphones, but I think I run one of these in general, which I used to have on like a mic boom as well, but
yeah,
just the
yeah.
does the
Oh,
job.
what's that?
But
NT1.
might be.
Yeah,
It's NT USB. Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, good mics. I know
yeah,
a huge difference in the quality of it. Like if I'm doing
yeah.
voiceover work and stuff for a video, it just sounds so nice on that, and with the pop filter
Yeah,
as well. It really makes a difference.
yeah. Completely different sound. Hey, awesome.
Um, that's sick. How many instruments do you play?
I'd say guitar's my main one. I don't actually play the keys very well at all. This is more just for sequencing drums, so I can just hit one
Oh
key
yeah,
to play a kick and then to play a snare. But I sing and play guitar, and that's my main thing. And then all of my other stuff is just production on the computer, so made electronically.
yeah, man. Do you just sing original stuff, or do you cover some stuff as well?
Yeah, I do a few covers, and I came from playing at pubs and playing acoustic gigs there, so I've always got a
Yeah,
few
cool.
covers up my sleeves just because that's what people want to hear until I'm famous as. And yeah, then the rest is all original. So,
Yeah, cool. Cool. All right, man. Show us what you got.
oh, you want to hear some stuff?
I thought that's what we were doing.
Oh, mate, I'm keen for whatever.
Or
I was
were
just
you just moving to put your phone on charge?
I was trying to my phone was gonna die. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Cool. Um, yeah, sweet man.
Yeah, but I can play some stuff if you want. Absolutely.
If you like, brother.
All right, let's do it. Hey, you look so good in that sweater. Melt my brain like cheddar. What I'm gonna say, call my way. Ain't trying to start with the games. I guess good got better. FLY letters. Ain't trying to slide in the mornings. Is how love get born. How love get on.
I like it, man.
Thanks.
You got a good voice.
Thank you.
Did you
Thanks so much.
when you were
Working.
playing in the bands, were you front man?
Yeah. Yeah. That was
What
a
kind of
year.
sorry.
Yeah, you're right. It was year 9 to year 11 journey, I think, and then it kind of fell apart after we all started going uni and doing all that. So we were called Something's Burning, and we were a passionate little rock band, I guess you could call it. Yeah,
Mad. That's pretty sick.
yeah, it was cool.
Um, and it just always been super passionate about music.
Yeah, just love music. Yeah, Dad's always been into music. My mum always loved her music, and yeah, it's always just been something that's close to my heart and something I like doing. It's my way of getting emotions out, and It's kind of like my diary, I guess, where I've always just been journaling, which ended up being writing, writing lyrics. So doing that. And then once I found production where I was like, whoa, I can get a sound on a computer and then put another sound over top of that and then sing over top of that, it was game over from there. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Editing's fun. I like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
process of like video editing and chopping stuff up, and that's
Yeah.
I just moved into a border place on the Gold Coast back in January. Um, so I've been setting up all the new office, which is why I don't have anything behind me yet. And why I was asking about the acoustic panels too. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, the idea was I built a studio out there.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
the idea was having somewhere where I could just film there
Yeah.
with tripods and lighting that pretty much stays permanently set up, and just go film content, come straight back in, edit it, and really
Yeah.
have a bit of a studio where I could
Yeah. Wow.
create some stuff because it's a bit harder working out of a gym. But I enjoy that editing
Yeah.
side of it.
Yeah,
It's
I'm a bit of a nerd at heart, so I've always liked games, and
me
I
too.
think when this producing came together with music, it was like it's almost like a bit of a game to me, where I make a song and put it together, and then send it to someone else, and then they send stuff back,
Yeah.
and so it's like my nerd and my creative passion has come to one apex. Yeah,
That's cool. It's like a puzzle, man. You're trying to put
yeah,
things together in the right sequence and order for it to flow the right way.
yeah.
That's cool.
The same with my
How
fitness and my training as well. I geek out over, how many sets and how many reps I'm doing at what percent, and then how many minutes of tempo work am I doing per week, and yeah, so it's cool.
Yeah, cool. We were gonna well, I was gonna start sidestepping into the fitness stuff. Have you always been um passionate about training?
Yeah, I think I got into that in at year 11 and 12, being insecure, and I just wanted to get bigger. I just wanted muscles, as most teenage boys do, and then got into bodybuilding, and then when I started going to uni for engineering, this was 4 or 5 years ago. I hated the job I was doing to keep making me money while I was studying. So then I thought, oh, I'm into fitness, so I'll just get my PT. And then went to F45. And then from there, it's transitioned pretty quickly from bodybuilding to functional fitness, which transitioned to running. So I think
Yeah,
since year 11, I've been into fitness, yeah.
nice. What does your training week look like? Dom's just asked.
Mm, it's,
Typically.
what do I, yeah, typically it's uh, legs training Monday morning after I work, into a easy run Monday afternoon, which is 30-ish minutes easy, depending on how much running volume I'm getting in.
Yeah.
Tuesday morning is mobility, so I'll just do some mobility and running accessory work, which typically ends up being, only 40 minutes of mobility and single leg stuff. Tuesday night, I go to Ninja Academy and do obstacle work. So I just do obstacles for about 2 hours, just training with most of the guys don't actually run and they just do ninja. So it's really good to push me because they're
Yeah.
way better than me. So I'm trying to keep
Yeah.
up with them. Then Wednesday morning, I run with my mates from a gym called Double, and they're all mostly road runners and duathletes and triathletes. So just run 40 minutes, sometimes an hour, just on flat running, nice and
Yep.
easy. Oh, I forgot. Tuesday before Ninja, I also do an interval session. So I'll do either
Yeah. Cool.
400s or 800s or 1K reps. Uh, so now I've backtracked. That's confusing.
Thursday.
Wednesday afternoon. Yeah, Wednesday afternoon rest. Thursday morning upper body conditioning. So
Yep.
just, again, depends where, mostly just pull ups, push ups,
Hmm.
any accessory stuff to keep my shoulders healthy. And then if obstacle stuff is coming up, I'll do a few more single arm swinging and stuff like that just to apply to obstacle course racing.
Yeah. Cool.
Friday, back to heavy leg training. an easy run, 30 or 40 minutes. And then Saturday, I'll do a tempo run, which is, around 30 to 40 minutes of tempo on trails if I got an OCR coming up, or on the road if, I got a road race coming up, and probably some ninja stuff as well on Saturday. And then Sunday, easy long, which is 90 minutes or 2 hours, just
Yeah, mate.
trails or road.
Right.
Yeah,
So you train twice a day most days.
most days, yeah.
Yeah. How do you find your body recovers? Is that something like that workload? Did it take a while to adapt to that, or have you always just had a
Yeah,
pretty good recovery rate?
yeah, definitely had to adjust to it, especially adding in running. So trying to run 5 times a week and then squat heavy. I used to squat heavy 3 times a week, and then I,
Mm.
I brought that back from Monday, Wednesday, Friday to Monday, Friday. So only doing those two, which made the legs feel a lot fresher on the runs.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess when my emphasis of what I'm trying to train for changes, the training splits change a bit, so a little bit less running, more weightlifting. Or I
Sure.
swam to Roto, in a team, swam to Roto, what was it, 2 or 3 months back. So
How
instead
far's
of the
that?
long, that's 21 Ks. So we did 6 Ks open water swimming each. And
Wow.
instead of the long, easy runs, I'll just do swimming. So,
Yeah.
just switch it out and then get back into running. And it just changes depending on what I want to do, which I like the idea of that as well. Just
Yeah.
being like, oh, I'd like to go swim 6Ks, so I train for that, or I'd like to do I'm very just curious, I guess, of what I
Yeah.
can
Me
do.
too. Me too. I sort of like to be ready for pretty much anything at any time. So I
Yeah,
can just sign up to an event 3 days out and go, let's go.
yeah,
Um,
it's cool to feel like you can, hey?
Yeah, and that means that I end up probably doing more events than I should, and I'm never really super good at any of them. But
Yeah, yeah, I worry that as well sometimes.
but I'll usually pick a couple of big events a year where I'm like, all right, this is my target. This is what I'm actually
Yeah,
training towards and going to really focus on, and the training obviously adjusts accordingly.
yeah,
Um, so whereabouts? I know I said I was going to get to that ninja place with you on Tuesday. We ended up chilling with my sister, so didn't get out
yeah.
there. But this is the Ninja Academy. Whereabouts is it? If anyone's interested,
Osborne Park, yeah, near
Osborne Park.
Scarborough Beach.
That's where we hide our car.
Yeah,
Um, nice. So a little bit north of the city. We've got Mr. Andrew Morton here. Great athlete, top bloke, humble as um,
yo, thank you.
the big dog. Sorry, I didn't do Delta V, Mr. Morton.
That looked intense. I'll do
It
it one
did.
time.
It did, man.
Yeah,
I started a similar sort of event called Taipan Endurance. We ran our first
yeah.
one in March, and yeah, I knew what it was going to be. I had a good idea how tough it was going to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, decided to opt out and get some sleep instead. But
Yes.
yeah, it
Yeah.
looked like a lot of fun.
It did. Yeah. Look cool.
Um,
And again, just like another thing to challenge yourself. Oh, another thing to challenge yourself with. Like how long can I go without X or without Y, and it's just another avenue of testing your fitness, really.
yeah. Have you done any of the sort of long endurance stuff like that?
Nah, but I tried to run a beach trail that's 134 kilometers a year
Yeah,
ago,
you're telling me about
and
it.
yeah, that sucked, and I only got 60 Ks through it, and then actually, unfortunately, got lost. So we pulled the pin because we were trying to beat the record, and me and a mate, once we got lost for half an hour and then found our way, we'd lost an hour, and then we pulled the pin. So I trained, long time for that, and ended up missing out on giving it a full crack. But next time, mate, I'm gonna tackle it again sometime.
Was it just beach running? Is that sort of how you tuned up for that? Was there anything different that you did, or?
Just long running sessions. So I was running about 110 Ks a week, where now I'd only run uh, maybe 60 or 70. Lots more fast work, but it was just lots of long, slow jogs. Yeah.
Yeah. The good thing about that is it's all just base building stuff, and that
It is.
that
Yeah.
building
And
building that
now I
base
feel
is
great.
slow. Yeah, building that base is slow. It takes time, but once it's done, you'll hold on to it for a long time, which I think
Yeah.
is one of the reasons why endurance athletes peak a little bit later. It just takes so long to build that base, and
True.
um,
Yeah. It's a good point.
the resilience too. I mean, you get more resilient as life goes on, right? Because shit happens to you and you get fucked around by life a bit more.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. Yeah.
which means you can go a little bit
Need to get another
into
charger.
the, yeah, you're good. You can go deeper into the darkness, into the pain cave, right? You can push yourself. Um, because
Definitely.
you know you're gonna get through it. You've been there before. Um,
Yeah, and it was a cool thing just to train for and test out because it's so new to me. Like I'm not an ultra runner by any stretch of the word, you know. So it was cool to at least just see where I'm at and then go, yeah, cool. I can touch on that again later once I'm done with all this OCR stuff and whatever else I'm doing, you know.
yeah. Is the OCR? Sorry, Andrew, I will ask that in a sec. Is the are you happy playing around in OCR and seeing what you can do for the next little while? Is there any plans to try any other stuff or?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of just take it as it comes, and the music is always the A1, and that's the main thing. And then this is just me being physically free, I guess, you know, and just whatever I want to tackle, I tackle. And at the moment, yeah, the answer, I guess, to your question is OCR is where I'm at, and I feel like I've got a lot more weak spots to work on and get better at, and I want to see how far I can take it. You know, if I can take it international or at least national, and see what I can do.
Fuck yeah. What do you what do you eat, man? On and off the course.
Um, yeah. So what do I eat? I used to do a lot of smoothies, and that's recently changed. So I took out a lot of dairy, and I go to less processed foods now, just because it seemed to help with my energy levels during the day.
Hmm.
I'm really trying to find the balance between getting home from training and from working and feeling energized enough to go straight into making music. And
Yeah.
if I was eating all sorts of whatever I wanted, it just wasn't working energy wise and inflammation wise as well from these hard training sessions. So,
Yeah.
yeah, to answer your questions more specifically, just a lot of rice and meat, fruit, the occasional protein shake, but even them I've started to take out because I don't have any plant based protein, which I might be getting my hands on soon through a sponsor. But
Yeah.
yeah, just pretty clean, pretty standard stuff, but I still act up on the weekends and get whatever I want, pizza or burritos or whatever it is. So
Yeah. 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 I'm sort of the same. Like I eat pretty clean most of the time, but fucking love me a burger.
that's it.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. And it does make a difference, man. Like from the inflammation standpoint, especially. Like I find if I clean the diet up, I'll drop a kilo or two almost instantly, and it's probably
Yeah.
just inflammation more than anything.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Is there, have you always been as disciplined as you are?
Um, I don't know. That's a good question, I guess. I think I just put a lot of emphasis and I've created an identity around the things that require discipline. And I know that's a weird answer to the question, but
No, I get it.
I
I get it.
I see myself now as a bit of an athlete, and I see myself as a musician. So most of the things that I do are just locked in on the fact that I don't want to lose those things, you know. And I
Yeah.
want to be an athlete, and I want to get better at being an athlete, and I want to be a musician, and I want to make a career out of being a musician. So I think just the whole idea of me developing an identity around those things is what gives me discipline or is what causes me to not stop doing those things.
Yeah. That's a good answer, man. It's a deep answer.
Yeah, I guess
A
so.
lot of a lot of the time when you're coaching people, I'll talk to people and they're like, I'm just not the type of person who does that. Or I'm just not the person who runs marathons. And it's like,
Mm, mm,
with that answer, you're fucking definitely not. I mean,
exactly. Yeah.
when I quit drinking years ago, I was a pretty big party boy. I was always a drinker. Yeah, everyone's a drinker in my family, and it wasn't really an issue, but it was sort of getting in the way of what I wanted to do fitness wise. It wasn't
Yeah.
sitting nicely in my
I
life,
feel
and
yeah.
I
Yeah.
tend to be a very extreme personality, so I go all or nothing. So it was either
Yeah.
get rid of it entirely or maybe not retain as much control over it as I would have liked. But I went from
Mm,
going to the pub weekly to quitting drinking, and I had a bit of a fucking identity crisis because so much of like who I was attached to that thing that I did. Like I realized almost all of my socializing was done with alcohol, and
Yeah.
so much of what I called myself as a person was tied to this thing. And I sort of thought that leaving that I don't even know what I thought, but I was just lost for a little bit. Um,
Yeah.
and then you realize there's so much else to life, like, and now I
Yeah.
identify, like, I actively identify as not a drinker, and
Yeah.
whether it was a good choice or a bad choice to make that decision, but I really had to change who I thought I was to myself to stop like this internal wrestle. You
Yeah.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I don't
Yeah.
get it, and it's that sort of self-talk and what you like something that I'll say to people. Say somebody says, oh, I really want to lose all this weight and I want to get faster and I want to get fitter and say I want to have an active lifestyle. I'm like, okay, if think about like who has an active lifestyle, what type of life would you have to lead to have that lifestyle? Because
Yeah.
that's the way you're going to get that goal, that result. You
Yeah.
need to live that
Yeah.
fucking life.
Yeah. You do it. Yeah.
You have to believe that that is who you are. That's who you want to be, and you have to make the choices that somebody like that would make.
Yeah.
It's a deep thought. Um, that takes a bit of self-awareness. I like
It
it.
does. Yeah.
Cool.
And
Uh,
it's a tricky one as well because constantly trying to help people kind of make that switch. That is if they want to or if they realize that they want to, and I think that it has to come mental before it becomes physical, especially in someone's situation where they're so far from where they want to be.
yeah,
You're not going to get that feedback instantly, and it has to be a mental process of this is just what I do now, and the things that I do to get me towards that are so positive. It makes you celebrate the small wins, and then that's really going to help you keep moving. Because if you're so far from that goal, as soon as you realize that, then it's game over. And you're just not going to adhere to the things you need to do.
yeah, man. It's ultimately that consistency too, and that's the hard part. Is we live in this I want everything now world, um, and
Yeah,
fitness just isn't that. Fitness is a long
get your reps
time of
in.
doing the right things and just do the right thing.
Yeah,
And it doesn't mean you can't have, play up on the weekends. It doesn't mean you can't take time off over Easter. But if you're doing what you need to do most of the time, you're going to get where you need to be.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
So true.
it's hard to because often people will look at a faraway target and go, I can't get there because like one of my favorite quotes is once you climb the mountain, you'll be able to see further. So you are only limited, like you are limited by what you know and what you've experienced. So like
Mm,
if I talk to somebody who sees me do, say, a Red Dust weekend or say a fucking enduro, like say Stamina, right, which is coming up, which is the Red Dust new event in August,
yeah,
which I think I'll come back for.
yeah,
Um,
cool.
it's a 12-hour enduro, and I'll speak to people who I know who just follow me on Facebook or I'm friends with, and they'll go, "Fuck, I don't know how you do 12 hours. I can't even run 30 minutes. I'd never be able to run 12 hours." And
Yeah, yeah. You
it's
sound
like,
crazy.
well, can you run fucking 5 minutes? Oh yeah, I can probably do that. Okay, well, cool. Come to parkrun with me five
Yeah,
times, and I bet by the
yeah,
end of it, I'll probably get you running, the whole 5Ks. And then when you've done 5Ks, we go, let's see if we can do 10, and then let's see if we can do
what's
20. And
next? Yeah,
you just keep building on your wins, and that's
yeah,
all you do. And understanding that it's a process, and it's a process that never fucking ends, ever. You just as
yeah,
soon as you
yeah.
stop, you'll get fat and lazy. Um, you've just got to
But that's where you
constantly
want to be.
sharpen your
You want
mind.
to be. You want to be on the way and in that journey because I think that that's where it's not a destination of once I'm there, then I'll be happy. It's just you're in motion and you're striving towards something. Like life's an uphill battle, but that's where you're most healthy.
Yeah, for sure. There's the enjoyment's in the growth. Um,
Mm.
I resonate with that strongly. I'm a gamer. I know you said you like games. So does that mean video games? Like you're a gamer?
Yeah, not as much
So
anymore because I've got so much going on, but that's where
yeah,
it started. Yeah,
so I've got to limit myself because I get addicted to pretty much
yeah,
everything I do. But
yeah,
but what I'll often do, I've been a gamer my whole life, is I'll get into a good game where you're like leveling up in the game, and I'll often get to like the top level, and then I've got to go around and do all like the end game shit or whatever it is, and I'm like, I'm bored of this now. Like I've already gone through the leveling process, the bit that's releasing the dopamine. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah,
you
yeah.
you gotta look at yourself like that. Like you're a fucking video game, man. You just got to keep leveling yourself up
Gamify it. Yeah,
in every aspect.
yeah,
Gamify it.
yeah. How
Um,
can I do better? I've just seen
yeah.
that question there. I sorry for if it hasn't if it's been up for ages, but yeah, I covered the nutrition, but the race nutrition, I
I was
just
gonna
do a
steer you
carb
back.
load. You're
Carb
gonna
load.
what?
I was gonna steer you back eventually at some
Oh,
point.
okay, cool. Sorry to cut you off.
Carb load. What are we eating specifically when you're loading with carbs?
Uh, I'm having 600 grams of carbs the day, 2 days before, and then
Oh, I don't mean
600
that
grams
specific. I
of carbs.
mean just like pasta or like
Yeah, okay.
what are we eating?
Um, just low fiber foods. So cereal is my main one, uh, and then white bread, uh, a bit of rice, but even that has a bit of fiber in it.
Yeah,
And what else do I have? Sometimes just some sweets like lollies, and then baked goods as well, like donuts, stuff like
yeah,
that. And I know it sounds nuts, but it's really low fiber and it's easy to
yeah.
fill your muscles up with glycogen
Shh.
without upsetting your stomach.
Sharp fuel, man. Your body just takes it and goes,
Yeah,
"There's no nutrients in this. I'm just gonna strip it down to the glycogen." It's
yeah,
it's
literally,
fast
yeah.
fast fuel, high GI. Um, and the fiber, is that just a bit easier on your digestion during races? You just find,
Yeah,
yeah. So I
and I
figured
think
that's where
it'll
you're
just
going.
run through you, like if you did
Yeah.
veggies and brown rice, you know.
Yeah, well, it does, man. Like, and it's pretty good sort of wisdom about, don't have high fiber stuff, say the night before a race. And what people might not understand is veggies can put you in that category. Like, you can have really
Yeah,
fibrous veggies and fuck yourself up, and you think you're
yeah,
eating really clean, um, but it could be your undoing. Um,
yeah,
Either because it goes straight through you, or it takes a while for the body to break something down, sits in your digestive tract, and then when you start exercising, pull all the blood out of your rest and digest into your muscles, and now there's not enough blood there to
yeah.
break the food down, and that can cause cramps and all sorts of shit. Um, what do you actually eat when you're on course? Like, say you're doing a 15, were you popping anything while you're out there?
No, nothing.
You don't eat while you exercise in general?
If the event's longer than 2 hours, then I will. But
Okay.
other than that, I just try to get through it. I mean, I think I did for the one 2 years ago, but I was less experienced with race nutrition back then,
Yeah.
and I just don't think I need it. Like I finished the 15K and I was fine, you know. But
Yeah.
maybe if I was up in my heart rate zones, actually weren't super high for that
Mm.
race because I was in front. I pulled the foot off the pedal a little bit, but maybe if I spent a bit more time in that zone 5, I would have used up a bit more carbs and I would have been closer to running out. But
Mm.
I really don't feel like I did run out of too much because a lot of my work wasn't anaerobic, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's your body stores as much carbs as it stores, right? I explain it to clients
Mm.
like your muscles are like glycogen buckets, and they hold a certain amount,
Yeah,
and you can carb load until they're full, but then if you keep punching carbs in, they're full. You're not
yeah,
doing anything. And the same way during a race, if you're depleting it, once it's gone, it's gone. Um,
yeah,
you ran the 15K in what, an hour and a half, which is fucking
yeah.
moving on those hills. Yeah, you're probably just starting to get compromised. I imagine with the work capacity you've probably got 60 to 90 minutes of carbs before you start running
Yeah,
out.
I think so.
Generally, the common sort of wisdom backed by good science is about 30 to 60 grams of carbs an hour, of
Yeah.
what you can put back in. But I was going to say, if you never eat while you exercise, I might just fucking beat you at stamina. But
Well, if it was 2 hours and I knew it was going to be there, then I'd be 40 grams of carbs an hour. That's what I
yeah,
did
cool.
for what was it, the ultra, the Cape to Cape. But
Hmm.
yeah, otherwise I'm just sending it. And for the half marathons, I've always just not eaten. And but for a marathon, definitely would. So that's a different story,
Yeah,
you know. But I
yeah,
think they reckon in well trained athletes you can hold up to about 1.2 to 1.5 kilos of glycogen. I think so.
yep,
I think that's more than
yep.
enough for 90 minutes.
That's one thing I noticed, man. If I don't train for a while, then I go in the gym and hit the gym. I just go because like
Yeah,
my glycogen stores all just pop up.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, that's good. What do you take? Like, say you are actually going to take something during a race. Are you punching gels or what are you doing?
I've never actually tried gels. I do fruit puree.
That's good.
Yeah, and then caffeine. I get that in. Um, how did I do it? I had for the long race. I had a vest, and then I had my fruit purees where I do 40 grams an hour, and then in the vest bottles I would have two caffeine stores in each of them. So I think I would be
Oh,
having 100 milligrams of caffeine every 2 hours, and we were ready. We were stocked up to go for 16 hours. So we
wow.
had enough there, and I knew how much I had to drink. I think it was 3 mouthfuls to get me the 100 milligrams of caffeine, and then I had a restock that we could do at 8 hours in. So that's a really long example of that. But yeah, normally
Mm.
for a long event, 100 milligrams of caffeine and 40 grams of carbs every hour.
Yeah, nice. How did you get onto the fruit puree? Do you mix it up yourself, or is it a brand of stuff, or
Yeah, it's just it's kind of like the kids, the baby
like a
food.
baby food? Yeah.
Yeah, there is one that you can actually get that's just like a yogurt sachet, but it's
Hmm.
not dairy, so it's just fruit, and they're the ones I
Yeah.
go for because they just seem to be the easiest on my gut. And I don't think I've actually ever tried gels, but I imagine that it wouldn't be the best. But maybe something to look at if I ever do a marathon or any more ultras.
They're all right for ultras, probably not. Gels are probably not as good as far as like what your body's going to respond to. I would probably stick like if you're doing an ultra, I'd stick to like the puree stuff because an ultra you're not really up in that. You're not up at 180
That's it.
ppm.
Yeah.
Like you're just not that high. So I don't think the carb demand is quite as high. You're not as anaerobic, I guess I should say.
Right.
You I like a brand of gel called Spring Energy, and that's actually like real food. So it's a bit of
All right.
fruit, bit of like rice that they put into like a pulp, and they're quite a good gel. Um,
Yep.
but I reckon you'd probably have a bit of joy out of science in sport gels for shorter, sharper, like I say, Spartan Beast, where you're out there for like
Yep.
21 Ks. But it's a pretty hard 21 Ks. Like you're on red line as long
Yep.
as you can hold it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, you might find a bit of joy out of that. But ultimately, it's stick to what works. Though
Yeah.
I look at nutrition, especially race nutrition, as like constant optimizing. So I'll try something. I'm like, yeah, this works pretty well, and then I'll run it, I'll test it under a few different situations, and then I'll go, all right, this works well, but every
Yeah.
now and again I'll just throw something new in the training and go, this might be better.
Yeah.
Like
Definitely.
someone will
Definitely.
release a new product, and I'm like, I'll give this a go, and I'll see how it works. And
Yep.
you're just always optimizing, man, always. But
For
it's
sure. Yeah, and I reckon you're right in saying that I was maybe pushing it a little bit on that Sunday, but I think because I wasn't as anaerobic for super long, then I was able to get away with it and feel okay. But the legs were definitely getting tired by the end of it, but that was more soreness rather than.
yeah.
I like to think I can tell the difference between running out of carbs and bonking and just being
Oh,
sore,
for sure.
which you can suck up.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, where it can be a little bit sinister in that sometimes during a race I'll get a bit flat and I'm like, fuck, my legs are sore, I'm tired. Like in that 15, man, my legs were pretty sore from the day before. And like just coming up some of those hills, I'm like, fuck, this feels harder than it did yesterday. And then I just punch a
Yeah.
gel, and then like a K later, I'm like, oh, I feel all right. It can just be that little kick that you need. But
Yep.
but yeah, I mean, it's pretty amazing that you were as far in front as you were, and you're like, I was sort of taking it easy because I think you fucking had 30 minutes on the next person in the 15 or maybe 25 or something.
25, I think. Yeah.
Just fucking outrageous, man. You were boogieing.
Yeah, I'm very very grateful that I'm feeling quick and I'm able to move as fast as I want to move, and it's just cool to know that all the stuff that I'm doing is working, and I'm fired up.
Mm. Did you play any sport? I know you said you sort of come out of high school and you were just hit the gym, which is a very
Yeah,
bloke
no,
thing to do.
it's
You
pretty.
start thinking about
I
girls, you
always
start
play.
training.
Yeah, yeah, I know, literally. I was playing soccer socially from year 6 onwards, and then tried country week football for 1 year in year 12 because I thought it would get me girls, and I think that was about it in terms of sport. Hey, yeah,
Yeah, cool. Um, I had something I was going to say then. It's gone. It's gone.
damn, yeah.
Damn. What's one place? What's one thing you'd like to do with your music? What's one hill to climb that you haven't climbed that you'd like to tick off?
Oh, I've got a few. I'd like to just tour and be able to take my friends touring and my family and make a bit of money off of it. But I guess more importantly, just be able to do it in the first place and bring the people I love with me around either Australia or around the world. That's the,
Yeah.
yeah, we've made it moment, you know?
I think that is once you're like financially able to support and comfortably do it. I think that's the moment where you're
Yeah,
like dream fucking achieved, um,
yeah, yeah.
for sure. Um, Same question for fitness.
Whoa, I haven't thought about that. That's a really good question.
How do you stay as
I
hungry as you
really,
do? Is it? Sorry to cut in. You answer that and then I'll ask. Sorry.
uh, I'd like to be a finalist on Ninja Warrior, actually. That
Oh
would be
yeah.
really cool. And maybe it's because of the massive platform that it's on, and maybe I would be more inclined to do that for OCR racing if the platform was larger. So I don't know where my motivation for that is coming from, but that's the first thing that popped into my head, and
Sure.
that's what I thought. Yeah, so be a Ninja Grand finalist would be really, really cool.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. The singing ninja, bro. That's how you got to get in. You got to just
Yeah,
make it all
yeah.
about the character. They fucking love stories, dude. So you just got to go
I
in. You
said
got
to
to
him,
say
I'll
them.
sing before I do my run. I'll stand up at the front of the
It's
first
enduring.
obstacle and sing a song. I'll
Yeah.
do it.
Do it. They'll go for it. Mon's joining us
Yeah.
live.
How you doing?
Yeah, I mean that was going to be when you sort of hesitated on the answer. I was going to say it's interesting because you're obviously fucking hungry, man. Like you don't get to the level you are without being dedicated, disciplined. Obviously, some natural talent to start with as well, but it's the fucking the hunger and the consistency over time is where you get like, you know,
Thank you.
hard work will beat talent every day of the week when
Yeah,
talent doesn't work
definitely.
hard. But it's interesting that there wasn't like a quick, this is what I want to do. This has been my goal. Like for
Yeah.
you to be able to train at the level you have for as long as you have without this really concrete goal of this is what I want to achieve. Um,
Mm.
it's interesting.
Yeah, I think that I'm a big believer in the universe, and I always have been. And just not that you're not in control, but that everyone has a path mapped out, and you can choose that based on the decisions you make. And a lot of the
Yeah.
time in my training sessions, when I'm hurting or I don't want to do it, I don't even apply it to the fitness. I apply it to just my life. Of the idea of if I work hard in this situation rather than not work hard, I'm going to end up in a better position than if I didn't. You know, so it's
Fuck
not
yeah.
even about I've got to get to that goal, but it's more about maybe the thought in my head of I don't want to fail and I want to end up somewhere positive. So I think a lot of the time maybe it's even an anxiety of that, just like right,
Hmm.
whatever you're doing right now, just do it well and do it with passion and do it hard, and no matter where you end up, that will be a better spot than if you didn't work hard. You know,
Mm. It's a philosophy of doing everything you
it
do
is. Yeah,
to the best. I was on a running consult with a client earlier today, and he was talking about do you read much or audiobook or
yeah,
anything?
yeah,
Yeah. He was talking. He said, "Oh, have you read Cam Haines' book Endure?" Cam Haines is this crazy. Do you know Cam Haines?
yeah. I know campaigns. Haven't read the book though.
So wrote this book Endure, and it's good. It's good. I'm a big Joe Rogan fan, so I got onto it.
Yeah,
Joe Rogan wrote the
same.
foreword for it, but it's a fucking great book, and he's just an interesting guy. But he like comes out and he says, I'm just an average fucking bloke. All I do is I work. I just work hard.
Mm,
Everything
yeah,
I do to 100 fucking percent. I leave nothing on the table. I just work hard. If I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna fucking commit to it. If I'm not
yeah,
committing to it, I don't fucking do it. And it's
yeah,
just that desire for excellence in all things
yeah.
will get you to. such incredible places. Um,
Yeah. And just
yeah,
really
it
believing
was
that, I think, is the first step. Just really
exactly it.
believing that that is true. Because a lot of people you can say that to, and they'll go, yeah, but they'll kind of shrug their shoulders at the same time and go, yeah, but this person did this, or this person was born with the talent. But if you really believe that, and you really think that if I put this work in now, then who knows where it could take me? It could end up better than I even expected, and
Yeah,
I'm going to be in a better place than if I didn't make that decision. So I think, like you
for
said, it's
sure.
a philosophy, and you've got to really believe the things that you're thinking and not just think them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a mindset, man, and it's the thing too that like fucking off and being lazy and going, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. It's so fucking contagious. Like it's such a
Mm,
cancer in your fucking mind.
yeah.
Um, and when the more you do it, the more you'll fuck off on everything. Like
Yeah.
it's so easy. Every now and again, I'll get to a point where I'm like, what are you fucking doing, man? Like I have to sort of kick myself in the ass because you'll sort
Yeah.
of just let a
Definitely.
few things slip and it's a fucking snowball. Um,
Definitely.
yeah, it's
I heard.
do you ever sort of fall off track or is it you're pretty constant?
Yeah, for sure. Like, and it's the same thing. I think it's natural to come in ebbs and flows of
Yeah, for sure.
just having time off and being okay with that as well. Because at the end of the day, what do you work for as well? Like you work so that you can have that time off. So I don't feel bad about it anymore, and just taking time to just reset and relax whenever that comes upon you. But then also being able to just get straight back into things a little bit like when people go off their diet for 3 days and then they start eating like shit for the rest of the week. It's just a matter of like, nah, that was a shit 3 days, but we're back into it today. So I
Yeah,
think that overall that adds up and lifts the average.
yeah, for sure. It's something I try and get clients to understand, like over say Christmas or Easter. Like some of them will be, say they've been working really hard for 3 months and they're like, oh, I'm really worried about Easter. We're going away. I'm not going to have access to the gym. There's going to be a lot of bad food. And I'm like, okay, well, you've been working real fucking hard. So
Yeah, yeah,
let's just make a bit of a plan and go each day I'm going to get up and go for a walk. And on the walk, I'm going to do 50 push-ups and 100 squats or whatever. Just a real, something real easy that you can stick to. Like make the friction as low as you can to get it done.
yeah,
And then have a plan for after that weekend, come the Monday or come the Tuesday, you're going to go meal prep and get back on the horse. Like, don't let the
yeah,
fucking 2 days turn into a week, because it'll
yeah,
fucking happen, man. It'll happen, and that willpower muscle is it's a muscle. Like the more you flex it,
yeah,
the better it gets, the stronger it gets, the more disciplined you get. It's
yeah.
it's always interesting chatting to people who are super disciplined with stuff and obviously achieving stuff as a result.
One hot day
Awesome,
doesn't
man.
make a summer, but I always think of
Correct.
it like that. Yeah.
Correct. Um, yeah, it's a good saying. Um, so are you a spiritual guy? I mean, you said the universe, you know, has a fate for you or is guiding you. Is that a
Yeah.
does that come from a religious standpoint or a spiritual standpoint, or
Um,
you
it
seem
comes
fairly
from a
enlightened when I speak to you?
it comes from a practical standpoint, I feel like, where that just seems like what is happening to me, and that feels like the best approach to take towards life. And
Sure.
if you want to call it a religion, I guess it kind of is. And I think there's actually a word for it. I wouldn't be able to tell you what it is, but that religion and the belief in the higher power, but not knowing exactly what it is
Agnosticism.
actually. Yes, yeah, that's the one. And I don't think of it like that, and I don't have um, like routine practices where I do anything. But yeah, it's just a way of thinking that I've kind of developed and that believe to be true, and it's always worked out for me. So that's what I stick with. And at the end of the day, if any type of religion works for you and gives you a place of solace when you need it, then that's serving its purpose, right?
Yeah, for sure. For sure, man. So you said you do read. Has there read anything good lately or any sort of top books that you'd recommend to anyone?
Yeah, I'm going back to geek mode here. Percy Jackson. I love the Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief.
Oh yeah.
That yeah,
I was like, where do
that
I fucking
shit's.
know that from? I haven't read it, but I did see the movie, I think.
Don't watch the movies, but the
Yeah.
books are unreal. And
Yeah.
probably
I'm
apart
an
from
old Harry Potter fan, so I know that, you can have really good books and they can fuck the movies up. And so,
Yeah,
so
oh,
yeah,
100%.
I don't usually
Yeah,
judge
that
book to
and
movies.
then probably just self-help stuff as well, like
Yeah,
Seven Habits, Highly Effective People. I'm reading that for
Stephen
the
Covey.
second time now, and yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, that's a good book, Stephen Covey.
Mm.
Um, yeah, cool, man. Dude, anything else to add or anything else you want to chat about? I mean, it was great meeting you over there. I definitely wanted to expose some of the people on the West Coast to who you are and what you do and how you train, and
I
just let them
appreciate
know
you.
that
Yeah,
if they
thank
if they do go over there, some fucking dude who can sing is probably going to wipe the floor with them.
you.
Um, but yeah, anything else to add or anything
Nah, well,
else?
likewise, man. It's been a pleasure meeting you, and it's cool to expand kind of my branches, hopefully in the OCR community over east, and hopefully I'll be over there soon with you guys or in Thailand, wherever we end up.
Yeah,
And
fuck yeah, man.
no, I didn't. I guess we didn't really cover too much or as much OCR or fitness stuff. So if anyone wants to reach out to me and ask anything, I'm an open book. So yeah,
Yeah, cool. I did drop your Insta, so give him a follow. Reach out to him, mate. If you're ever coming over, let me know, and I'll do whatever I can to connect you with the right people, the right training people, and all that type of stuff. But
thank you.
mate, we'll end the live. I'll let you get back to your Saturday arvo, and thanks for
Appreciate you.
jumping on. Still got a couple of
Thanks so
people
much, Matt.
watching, but cheers for coming along, guys. Shep, you stick around for a minute. Once I end the live, we'll chat off screen for a little
Yeah,
bit.
for sure.
But cheers, guys. Have a good arvo.
Thank you. All the best.